Are you? Welcome, welcome to our Facebook Live today. My name is Louisa Havers and I help entrepreneurs and coaches break through their upper limits in life. So excited that you're joining me here today. Let me know if you're catching me live, if this is your first time watching me live, or indeed if you're watching the replay, or perhaps if you've been here around the block with me, then let me know so I can circle back and say hello to you, of course, as well. I wanted to dive in and talk about community today. So we'd love to know, because we're all part of so many different communities, what does it mean to you? And as you're jumping on, let me know where you're tuning in from, because I know we have people joining us from all over the world. So I always love to see where everybody's at. I'm obviously coming live from the UK today, and would love to say hello and to connect with you all. So thinking about community and what that means for you. The reason why I started to think about this was thinking about my son's entrepreneurial journey. He's just started his entrepreneurial journey, and of course it can be lonely, a lonely one, especially if your community and your friendship group are doing the path that is expected of them in their society, if that makes sense. So going to school, getting a job, getting good grades, going to uni, getting the loan, getting a mortgage, having nice things, that can be a path of stability for some people. And for other people, it can feel like a massive restriction, if that makes sense. I know that if you've been around me for a while, I often talk about the hero's journey. One son's going on the path of the village in my household, and the other one is going on the path of the hero's journey, on that entrepreneurial journey. I suspect the other one will probably do the entrepreneurial journey as well, but of course it's the path that they're choosing to take at this moment in time. And I don't know about you, but when you go left and everyone else is going right, that can feel really tough. Have you had that in your lifetime where you feel like you're the only one going off on your own path and everyone else is doing the same thing? That makes sense. And so then you can start to feel like you're not part of that community that you were once part of. And I think being part of a community is really important, especially in business. We were talking about the importance of relationships last week, and the importance of relationships with clients, and being able to have relationships with colleagues so you can have potential joint ventures. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking, has anyone here felt lonely on their entrepreneurial journey? I would love to know. Have you ever felt lonely on your entrepreneurial journey? Or perhaps you're surrounded and have always been surrounded by other entrepreneurs. Let me know in the comments, whether you're live or on the replay, if this is resonating. So have you ever felt lonely on your entrepreneurial journey? Or do you feel that you are fully supported by the communities that you're part of, that you're in? Okay, so we've got yes, very much. Yeah, it was certainly something that resonated for me as well as I was thinking about it, because I think there can be real pressure that we put on ourselves, and we can, I don't know if you've ever found yourself doing this, feeling like I've got to figure it out all on my own. Being uber independent. We were talking about this actually at the weekend. I was teaching level 3 Akashic Records consultants training at the weekend, and being superwoman, being uber independent, being that lone wolf can often come up as well, having that sense of I've got to do it all myself. Does that make sense? Have you ever had that? So you might not have it now, but thinking back along your journey, that's, some people call it the superwoman syndrome. So if you've got superwoman syndrome, or you might feel like you've got a little tiny bit of it, you might be like, yeah, I've got a big dose of it. That's where you're feeling like, you've got to be able to do it all. So it's not only juggling being the entrepreneur, bringing, creating a successful business, but of course, as we all, I was going to say women, but we all actually, men and women, have multiple roles these days. And they might be, depending on different families, etc., made up in different ways, but ultimately we'll be juggling, family, career, social life, all the things. And that can lead to, if we've got the superwoman syndrome, feeling overworked, overwhelmed, might feel like you've overcommitted yourself. Does that make sense? And then, of course, that all creates the things that, we want to avoid, like feeling exhausted, anxiety, feeling stressed out. And that can then creates like that isolation. And of course, if we're creating that for ourselves, the internal patterns that can be creating that experience, if we think about, everything comes from our identity, we create and manifest from our identity. So what are the patterns and the beliefs that are underneath that identity, the superwoman identity, that are creating this reality? So it could be things like a tendency towards people pleasing, a tendency towards being really, really agreeable, a tendency towards feeling like they can do it all. I know that's certainly something that I was like, yeah, I can do it all. Not feeling like you can say no. Has anyone had that, where you're like, just needing a gentle reminder that no is a full sentence? Feeling like we want to be the good little girl. And this can all be wrapped up as well, where we may be wanting to, if we need to top up our self-esteem so that we can be able to feel like, yeah, I can say no to that. It's not, we're not getting attached to the things that are being asked of us if we say no to something. So the superwoman, if we've got that identity piece within us, is wanting to be a good person, being very duty orientated, feeling very responsible. So ultimately, wanting to do the right things. But of course, the flip side of that is when we haven't got the support around us, or if we're not allowing ourselves to be supported, is it can create stress. And as everyone knows here, too much stress is really unhealthy, not only physically for your body, but also just in terms of your own enjoyment in life. Does this resonate? Where do you think you may have a little touch of superwoman syndrome? Or do you know what? I've let it go now. I can see, not so much now, but definitely at the start of the business. What was the turning point for you when you were able to let that go? That would be great to know. Because I think if we are feeling stressed, we don't make good decisions, do we? It can impact our memory. We can become really indecisive, unable to concentrate, all those symptoms that can bubble up from feeling stressed. And of course, then if we don't kind of knock that on the head, ultimately can lead to burnout, which no one wants. And I know our bodies feel that really strongly. They're like, if you've had burnout ever, your body will do everything it can to make sure you don't get burnout again. Has anyone had burnout here? Out of interest, that would be really good to know. I know for me, healing from my own superwoman identity, so moving from that I have to do everything and I've got to do it well, the self-concepts that I was holding there was actually being able to change to moving into really developing my relationship with my higher self, channeling higher realms of consciousness, being able to change those self-concepts around being assertive, that no is a full sentence, that I can be a good steward of my self-care, and to be able to allow myself that there is strength in allowing myself to be supported by a community as well. Does that make sense? Those were some of the key things that I would say in terms of changing my identity to enable me to allow that support in, learning to delegate, asking for help. And of course, that is not only in business, but also at home. And actually, when I think back, my son, because I'm a single parent, my sons have done their washing. So this was one thing I, big tick, since they're about 12, which I thought was amazing. And so being able to delegate within the family, so that it's not all on, you as the individual, if you're running the superwoman syndrome, to be able to start to know the strength in asking for help. I think the other thing for me was letting go of perfectionism. And just being able to recognize that, it doesn't have to kind of be perfect. It can be in that space of being good enough and really allowing yourself to get that balance right so that you've got that time for self-care. The self-care aspect being a really important part of who you are as an entrepreneur and as a CEO of your business, and being able to allow support in the family household as well when you can, when the budget's grown, and you can do that, whether it's having a cleaner or a chef, whatever it may be, so that you can allow that support in. I think having support systems in place is so key. I remember the relief when I, just thinking back to starting my business, someone else mentioned starting their business, that when I first joined my first group coaching program, and I realized that all the thoughts that were in my head were completely normal. And it was just so amazing to be part of a community where everyone was working towards the same goal. So, and I could see all these other sort of superwomen coming together in community to support each other and to celebrate each other and to be there and to hold space when, things were going wobbly and everyone's learning new skills. You're all sharing that journey together. And of course, we're all able to then grow together. So, you've got your own individual growth journey, and you're witnessing other people's growth journey as well. And for me, I think it was realizing I didn't have to figure it out all on my own, and being able to see other successes is so inspiring, and being able to celebrate with them. And that is actually acts as a catalyst for success for everyone in the group. That is one of the reasons why I love having evergreen programs for me, for in my business and for my clients, so that my clients can be with others who are further along on the journey than them, so they can witness that, they can see the results. And so everyone's got something to contribute to each other wherever they are on their journey. Does that make sense? And one of the things from an energetic perspective that I think, are, I'd say, 3 things that are keys to why you feel so good being in a community of like-minded souls where everyone is working on the same intention, is from a vibrational perspective, you will calibrate and rise to the highest frequency in the community. So that's why you can feel so good in the company of leaders that are holding that high vibration. Does that make sense? It is that birds of a feather flock together as well. So when you this is really key, because when you witness success, let's say so if you're in a coaching group already, so when you witness success from somebody else, celebrate it, because you've seen it, and that means that you are in resonance with that frequency of success because you saw it. Does that make sense? So that's why I get so excited when everyone's celebrating and seeing each other's successes. Like, yes, you can see that because you're in the same frequency as that. Brilliant. And of course you can then say, some of that for me, please, universe, as well. Does that resonate? And also in a community, when you have, we see this in our masterclasses as well, you have huge momentum is created because there's an energetic vortex of everybody working together towards one goal. It creates that momentum and that excitement. Have you felt that when you're in communities? I'd love to know. And indeed, actually, if you've taken part in our masterclasses, did you feel that? Or if you're in our coaching programs, did you feel that? Do you feel that? Because we truly rise together. That is the best bit about being in community. So my invitation is to contribute to the communities that you're in so that your relationship can grow with people. Focus on the communities, of course, that are, feel aligned for you. Surrounding yourself with people who are where you want to be and are on the journey with you. And I love our community in the Art of Alignment. I'm so grateful for everyone's contributions to each other here. I love it when you're seeing everybody, chatting and witnessing and contributing to each other, whether they're commenting on one of the guest experts' Facebook lives that have, that they've shared, or indeed other community members' posts, etc. It's wonderful. One of the things, just to remind everybody here, is we have a post on Fridays inviting people to link up for joint ventures and partnerships. And, whether you've got a podcast and you're looking for people to speak, whatever it may be, I see that as the networking thread. So my invitation this week is to reach out, have a cup of tea with someone on that list who says, hey, I'm up for, networking. And for me, it's really leading with that go-giver energy to think, how can I help that other person? So having no attachment. And of course, leading with that energy always comes back to you anyway, not always from that person, and that's cool, but it does always come back. So that's my invitation this week, is to see who you can connect with in this group. Use that networking thread on Fridays and start to really get to know everybody in the community here, because you never know who you may be able to link up with and refer people to, who may be, somebody may know someone who is really looking for your service. And of course, unless you've started having more conversations with people, they're not going to know that you're offering that service. So that's my invitation this week. I hope that inspires everybody to connect with each other. We've got 1,000 people here in this group, which is amazing. And I always believe that communities and groups come together for a reason. So I know that you're all meant to meet each other. So excited for that to really happen. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope to see you all very, very soon. We've got our next Breakthrough the Money Ceiling Masterclass coming up, which I'm so excited. And as a member of our community here, you are invited to join us and to claim a free spot. And let's create that energetic vortex of everyone working towards that same manifestation. Break through that money ceiling so you can have that freedom and peace of mind that you crave, and to be able to use money as an ascension tool, the ascension tool that it is, so that you can create more opportunities for others. All right, my friends, that is it. Look forward to connecting with you all soon. I'm going to follow that thread on Friday and see who's up for a cup of tea, and look forward to networking with you as well. Hello. And if you're catching the replay, I think I can see some people just joining us now. Then you may want to circle back in a second as Facebook uploads the replay, so you can dive into what we've been talking about today. But yeah, if you're catching the replay, do hashtag replay underneath. Any questions, post them below. I'd love to see your thoughts and reflections on this, and keep the conversation going. Sending you lots and lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye.